do? We're doing the officers, and we're doing some stuff. Some family, and we're recognizing a group tonight as well. Just in the right order.
I don't think we have.
Oh, wait, no.
Or is there literally like
Yep, you're moving to your left.
Right.
Take
like
your,
Take your water with you.
one day's like on the slopes and then the next day is like for snow. Oh. So it's like
That's
same.
funny. We're just out of order. That's funny.
Yeah. This one just a nice bit of people. Usually there's two.
Peanut wraps.
Becky, ready?
I would like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that the Tumwater School District sits on the ancestral land of the Nisqually, Squaxin Island, and Chehalis people. I thank these caretakers of the land who have lived on and continue to live on the land since time immemorial. Please rise as Rita Luce leads us in the flag salute. Thank you, Rita. Rita is a former board member who served from 2005 to 2020. Before we begin, I would like to remind members of the public that if you wish to address the board during public comment portion of the meeting, you would have needed to fill out the public comment form available on the district website by 12 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Time for public comment is limited to ensure all those interested have an opportunity to speak. A person initiating public comment will have a maximum of 3 minutes to present, and up to 30 minutes will be reserved on the board agenda for public comment. If you are unable to share your comments or concerns because the time limit has been reached, you're welcome to sign up at the next regular board meeting or email your comments to the board or superintendent. Contact information is on the district website. Superintendent Meyer, have there been any changes or additions to the agenda since it was published?
There have been. Oh, am I on? Am I on?
You are
There we
on.
go. Sorry about that. There have been, we had to remove the capital projects plat of Sienna 2 Exchange from the consent agenda. And the district needs to make a few more steps before we bring that forward.
All right, is there a motion?
I'm sorry, you're not going to
There
have
you
to do this after this, so. I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
All those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The agenda is approved as amended. Thank you. We'll now move on to meeting minutes review. The board has had an opportunity to review the minutes from the November 10th meeting. Are there any changes? All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from November 10th, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The meeting minutes are approved as presented. Thank you. And now we will move on to the election of officers. We will start with the position of president. I will now accept the nominations for the role of board president.
I move that we elect Scott Killow as board president. Or I nominate.
There you go.
Scott. Let's just skip to it.
All right. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? One more time. Are there any other nominations? Given that there are no other nominations, All those in favor of Scott Killow serving as the role as board president, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion is passed, and Scott Killow will serve as the role as board president until December of 2023. Just a few more paragraphs for me left here. So vice president. I will now accept nominations for the role of board vice president.
I nominate Darby Kaikkonen.
I accept the nomination of Darby Kaikkonen. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Given that there are no other nominations, all those in favor of Darby Kaikkonen serving in the role as board vice president, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is passed, and Darby Kaikkonen will serve as the role as board vice president until December of 2023. We will now trade seats.
Oh, that's right. You want this direction. Microphone's bigger.
They always give you the bad seat, Scott, trust me.
All right. Let the Kilo era begin. Okay, first order of business for myself. The role of legislative representative is an appointed position rather than elected, so there will be no need for a nomination and approval process. Are there any board members who are interested in serving in this role?
Well, as a matter of fact, I would be interested in serving in this role.
I will ask that the minutes reflect that Director Beard has agreed to serve in the role of legislative rep until July 1st of 2023, when another two-year period will start. Now the board will discuss committee assignments.
Do we have that list somewhere?
I do, in
Okay,
fact,
good.
but I just thought, since we just did this, I would do that.
Oh.
Fill them in. They were empty before we did our process. And there you go.
All right. So did we have people, do people want to trade around? Is that what we're asking, or?
Right, we did that via email, and so I was able to make adjustments
Okay.
and additions, and while some of these are annual, some of these are also on an as-needed basis, for specific, like curriculum, for example, if we're doing an adoption. I know that Sean Batstone's looking at a policy, so they're kind of more on an as-needed basis.
Okay.
I made the adjustments based on interacting via email individually with people.
All right.
We're all happy?
Yes.
Looks good.
Do connect with me if you want to.
I don't know about having
Adjust.
Casey as tech committee.
It is I think it's once every 3 months.
Okay.
It's not a huge role for the board, but you get an insight into the technology piece.
Okay, very cool. Okay. Thank you. We'll now move on.
I also had a couple
Oh,
others
that's
that,
right.
if that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
We've instituted, I guess, begun a process of mentors. And so these are your mentor assignments for our student reps and for Jill, our new board rep, or director. And then,
Oh, can we go back to the last
Yep.
one? And it just occurred to me that maybe our student reps might want to be on some of, on some
Good call.
of these. And so I don't know if anyone is interested. I know that, Amia, you've attended the Equity Advisory Committee. I don't know if anyone wants to be part of the graduation task force. Is that operating?
I attended a
Sean,
few sessions.
this year?
Last year.
probably closer to graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, Amia, which ones were you interested in?
The military one and the graduation one.
Okay?
Alex, were you interested in?
And if you need time to think about this.
Yeah, or if you, I was thinking, and also if you have questions about
Yeah.
what it is that they do.
I think I'll have to think about it a little bit.
Yeah, so Carol, can you check in
Yeah,
with them?
I'll check in with you.
Okay.
Or
Perfect.
Becky or myself.
Okay, excellent.
And with Lynn as well, who is excused tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Are you also going to go through our
I am.
schools? Excellent.
Yeah, so I was able to send these out in advance as well. We looked at where your areas are that you represent as directors and as well as giving some elementary, high school, when we had that opportunity to spread them out. And these are your schools.
And just so everyone knows, what we typically do is we will reach out to the principals of those schools who are assigned to us, if you will, maybe each quarter, and we just sit down and have a chat for half hour to an hour. It's mostly just kind of a check-in. We tend to just kind of show up with two questions in mind. How are things going, and how can we better serve you or serve the community? So it's just kind of a check-in that we like to do. We shoot for once a quarter. I would say if all things work out, we probably get 2 to 3 in before the end of the school year and the start of the next. So that's the point of that. It's just kind of as a gauge of how things are going in the community and their schools.
And while it looks like Melissa has the lion's share, there are several that are in one building.
Yeah.
So,
All right, any other assignments?
I think that concludes all the assignments.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll now move on to the consent agenda, and I just made a note here just as a reminder to us all that capital projects was removed. It needs some revisions, and it will come in a later presentation to the board or just in a board package. The board has had the opportunity to review the items on the consent agenda.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move to student rep, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is approved as presented. Okay, now we will
Was
move
that a
on.
nay? I heard a nay.
That was a yay.
Oh.
That's my granddaughter, by the way. Okay, we'll now move on to student rep reports. Students are invited to share any significant upcoming events or other news about their school and programs, and we were notified earlier this week that Lynn is not able to meet it. She represents Cascadia. She did send in her comments. Are you willing, or are we just going to are we going to share those, or? Okay, thank you. All right, and we would like to welcome, I believe this is Alex, this is your second.
First.
First time here? I've seen you before. Where do we meet?
Training.
Training, that's right. Thank you. So Amia and Alex are our student reps. Amia is from Tumwater High School, and Alex represents Black Hills. And they have one mic, so they need to share the duties with that mic. So who would like to go first? Okay.
Okay, so for my school, we have United Basketball that's going to be starting, and then we have a choir concert on the 13th of this month, and a band concert, an orchestra concert, and jazz band concert on Thursday, which is tomorrow. And then we have a sense of belonging summit that's going to be tomorrow also. It's for 2 periods. And we have donations for food and clothes that we have going on. And then we also have a blood drive that people are starting to sign up for. Hopefully more people start signing up for it. So that's what we have for my school.
Thank you, Amia. We have any questions?
Yeah, what's the sense of belonging thing?
So that's like, so me and my principal and some other teachers and 2 other students, we had a meeting about what sense of belonging is and how we can make students feel more included. And we started this because of the panorama data that we looked at. So we were looking at that, and we had 2 meetings about it, and we were all coming up with planning for a summit, and that summit's happening tomorrow. So it's like sign-up sheets that you can sign up for, and the students who want to come, you know, like they'll come in. We're going to talk about like what students would want to see change in the school, and also like how the teachers can support them in that way. And it's just more this time letting students come up with their ideas and just having teachers, the adults there listen, so we can all just think about that stuff and talk about it.
Nice. All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Amia. Okay, Alex.
Okay, and for my school, my school's also having a band concert tonight, and then an orchestra concert next week, and a choir concert next week. And right now, winter sports have just started up, and like all the seasons are kind of getting going, all that. And next week, we're gonna have Winter Spirit Week for some like school spirit kind of. And we are also having next Wednesday Perception Day, which is like, it's going to be an optional thing that students can choose to go to, and they'll be excused from their classes, and they can like bring attention if they feel like they're being bullied. We do it like every year, and this year it's kind of being centered around bullying and just like informing people what could be going on at the school and stuff. Yeah.
Like adult people or
Students
people? Okay.
Students like have signed up to like talk to students who feel like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Did you say it was Perception Day?
Yeah, Perception
Okay,
Day.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you probably want to talk about why you haven't been with us, because you've been on volleyball.
Yes.
And what happened there?
Yeah. So I had a whole volleyball season. For the first few, my games actually happened on Thursdays. So it just happened to be that like every single Thursday I had a game, which were when the meetings were happening. And then for the most recent one, my team got to go to state. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can applaud that.
Congratulations. Any other questions? Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll now move on to recognition. Lori Wiedemeyer is going to present on OJP, as I've always heard it referred to, Olympia Junior Programs.
Thank you so much. While I'm speaking, I would love for the board members of Olympia Junior Programs that are here to go ahead and come on up right here. 80 years of in-person theater is what these people represent. Olympia Junior Programs has been in business for 80 years. These are all volunteers, and their mission is to present young members of our community with educational and entertaining programs in drama, music, science, and interpretive arts at a lowest price as possible, to develop audiences who will continue to come and enjoy the finest cultural programs for years to come. And I think they've done that. We probably have some students here who enjoyed the OJP programs when they were young. I know my sophomore, when I said, I've got to miss your basketball game because I've got some guests coming to the board meeting, and she's like, who? And I said, OJP. She's like, you mean the theater people? So it's very fondly remembered amongst our students, and we just are so grateful that you guys have continued your mission. Your last couple years, I know, have been a super big challenge because in-person theater wasn't able to happen. And these people put their heads together to figure out what can we do. They spend hours and hours previewing programs that they might offer. They spend hours and hours talking about deciding what's going to be the best options for our younger kids, for our older kids, and then make the commitment. They work with we get to present at the Washington Center for Performing Arts, so our kids get to go to this beautiful facility and experience the arts in action. During the pandemic, this is what was so impressive to me, is, they already had standing contracts, because you contract like 2-3 years in advance with the theater companies that visit us. So they already had contracts in place, they'd already paid for them. And they're like, what can we do? We can't have people in person. And so they provided a totally virtual option for our students to be able to enjoy at no cost to the district. Last year, or to students, last year they had the same situation where they had contracts in place. They provided programming virtually at a nominal fee for districts to pick up so that they didn't, totally go into the hole with their contracts. And so we just really appreciate your ongoing commitment to making sure that our students get to experience this. A fun story is, I know probably throughout the district there are things like this, but we have a teacher at Little Rock, a 5th grade teacher, that takes this very seriously and considers a theater visit to be something somewhat formal. And so he teaches his young male students how to tie a tie. He'll provide them if they want them. They don't have to, but he provides that opportunity for students if they want to, so it makes it kind of fun.
He also says, if you don't wear a tie, I will provide it, and it will be ugly.
Oh. But it just makes it, and then our parent organizations come in and pay for transportation in a lot of situations, or will pay for students that aren't able to pay for their ticket fee. And I know that they love having visitors. If we had any board members that wanted to come and see one of the shows when our kiddos are there, they would love to have you there and might even put you to work as one of the ushers. So I just am so grateful. I'm going to name our board members that are here. So when I say your name, please wave your hand. We've got Ginger Waite, our president. Kathy Herford, am I saying that right? I'm sorry. She's our homeschool coordinator. And Peter G. Schmidt, coordinator. Enos Groudens, right there, is our secretary, and Pat Elwanger is our treasurer, and she's been doing it like forever, I understand. This year we're excited. Oh, and Rita Luce, I'm sorry, she wasn't on my list. Our former school board member, Rita Luce. And so this is a great group of people who are super committed to their mission, and we're so grateful to get to be a part of it and that they've been able to continue that tradition. So on behalf of the district, thank you so much. And we've got a board member.
But wait, there's more. Kathy's also a neighbor of mine. And this is a half Windsor knot on behalf of the board.
Don't you want to be president? No, I'm good. Give it to her.
This certificate is presented with sincere appreciation for the partnership you have formed with the Tumwater School District. Your commitment to presenting our students educational and entertaining theater programs will benefit them for years to come. Our students have and will continue to enjoy the wonderful opportunities you provide through your commitment to our community, and as I hear, 80 years combined. You are a huge part of giving every student a chance at success, given this 7th day of December 2022 by the Tumwater School District Board of Directors. Please join me in congratulating them.
Very nice.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I would shake your hand, but right now my body is in like fight or flight mode, so all the blood's in my core. Little science lesson there for you. Icicles. Always a flare. Okay. All right, we'll now move on to public comment. Becky, did you receive any submissions?
Yes. One submission, Darlene.
Darlene? And you said Adkins? Thank you.
That's with the D. That's a David.
Thank you. Adkins, Public Safety.
That's a hard act to follow, but a wonderful group, and I'm so glad to know about them. I hadn't heard about this wonderful artistic group, so glad to know that. Thank you. Yes. I am ready. Good evening, Dr. Meyer, Board of Directors, student reps, and community. My name is Darlene Atkins, and I'm a community member and a college student again studying public administration. I want to be sure, if I didn't say it during my public comment in August, that I thank you all for your service. I very much appreciate the people who serve the public and contribute to the health and safety of the children and families in our communities. I am here today for part 2 of the conversation I started last time regarding the idea of a brain science curriculum. So there's an upcoming event with free and easily accessible resources should the Tumwater District teachers be interested. International Brain Awareness Week will take place in March 2023. The University of Washington will host a speakers bureau with neuroscientists interested in sharing their passion for brain research with elementary, middle school, or high school audiences. Presenters in the Speakers Bureau will be matched with teachers for virtual or possibly in-person classroom presentations. Please see my handout for more information. That's some good news as we end this year and begin to think about next. I know our society still continues to suffer collectively and individually with needless and tragic events. There have been more since I spoke in August, close to home for all of us, including me. Someone died by suicide, I knew, and my own sister collapsed and had to be put on life support. In her case, she survived, and after 3 weeks, her brain came around. For her children and her grandkids, I am so very happy they get to be with her again because it looked hopeless in the beginning. I'd like to offer some hope for our future generations and give a few more details from a resource I shared in the handout I gave to the board in August. They have free resources and partner with schools from the Rooted School website. And I quote, "When students learn what the different parts of their brain are and how they function and work together, they are empowered to see themselves as part of their developmental growth. Learning switches from something happening to me to something I can figure out and how to engage with, learn from, and apply to future learning. In the Grow Strong Roots program, we teach students what neurons are and what they do. Students learn that practicing gratitude and kindness can boost the brain's neurotransmitters that help us feel happy, loved, safe, and rewarded. Students are engaged as they learn about mirror neurons and how our behaviors and actions impact the other brains, their classmates, and their learning environment. Words like the amygdala, prefrontal cortex, and anterior cingulate cortex are common words, even for kindergartners, and I'm wrapping this up. We accomplish this through engaging storytelling and character-based learning that everyone can understand and relate to. Students don't instinctively know how to manage emotions, solve problems, and get along with others, but when they learn how their brain works, those skills come more naturally. I want to thank everybody and wish you all happy holidays and a very happy new year.
Thank you, Darlene.
Mm-hmm. And then I just have a handout.
Thank you. Does your handout?
About the brain awareness?
The training that you mentioned?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you very
It's all
much.
there. And then an example lesson plan at the very
Okay.
back.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Okay, we'll now move on to reports to the board, and we will start things off with Beth Schooler. She's going to present a first reading of Policy 5278, Social Media and Electronic Communication.
Good evening. Good evening. Am I on? Okay, thank you. Yeah. This evening, I'm here to recommend your consideration of Policy 5278. This policy is similar to a policy we have in our 2000 series, which is instruction, and that policy addresses students' use of electronic resources. This policy outlines acceptable use for our staff and our volunteers. One of the obviously most important policy, part of a policy on social media would be that it absolutely calls attention to recognizing the constitutionally protected right of people to speak as private citizens. And so this policy does address that two different places where we make it very clear that that is not what we're addressing. We're addressing workplace use of social media. Section 2 of it offers a definition. Section 3 gives a scope which talks about what is professional social media use and what is personal social media use. And then the final part guarantees that if an employee or a volunteer does make a statement on social media as a private citizen, the district would not take any adverse action just because we disagree with their point of view.
Any questions or comments?
I had a, that's on.
It sounds different tonight or something.
Yeah. I had a question under the personal social media use, item C, which talks about district employees shall not communicate or otherwise disseminate any confidential information they have access to as a result of their employment with the district.
Mm-hmm.
So this one's just kind of stuck out to me because it seems like that is just a policy in general and maybe seems a little bit redundant in this section. One other question, is this a WASDA model policy?
This is not a WASDA model policy. This is from two different attorneys have vetted this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that one, employees will not disclose personally identifiable information from student records except to the extent permitted under FERPA. Is that meaning like if there's directory information under that they're allowed to disclose under FERPA, they could put that out on social media? Like,
Yeah, we had a recent example of this at one of our elementary schools where one of our paraprofessionals posted pictures of her with some of the students on the playground, and she had the students' names listed. However, she had parent permission to use those photographs. And it was for a kind of a community building type event. So with parent permission, although I don't ever recommend it, staff could have pictures of themselves with children and the children's names.
under the personal social media
It was a
use.
personal social media account.
Anything else?
Was Lance one of the attorneys?
Yes, yeah. We had a couple examples that we were looking at, and this was the one that he said does the best job of guaranteeing a person's personal rights to speak as a private citizen, but also provided the district some language to say, remember, you may do this, but you may not do this.
I don't expect you to have an answer to this, and I'm just asking it. board members are not staff. We're elected officials, and we have personal accounts that are not officially campaign accounts, but I mean, where does that line? I don't know that you have the answer to this, or maybe Lance has mentioned it, or maybe we can discuss it. I don't know.
In our other policy about civility, we talked about volunteers. And so do you consider yourself volunteers, or we could expand it to elected officials representing the district, something like that?
There's also the ethics for the board of directors too, that may be redundant somewhat. So it could be considered, but I haven't, I'm not.
Okay.
I just know it's out there. I don't know. What it touches.
That would be a worthy cross-reference, a legal cross-reference at the base.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Sure, I'll look into that.
Thank you.
Yep. All right.
Any others?
If there are, please feel free to call or email me.
Thank you, Beth.
Take care, thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
Okay, transitioning, Sean Batstone, Melissa Richter will present on the ESSER report. And just as a reminder, to all in the room and out there in TV land, what does ESSER stand for? I have an idea. It's every student succeeds, and then I always forget the E and the R.
No.
I only know it as COVID.
Oh, it's recovery.
Yeah, I think there was
Okay.
an E, right?
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to throw you off there.
It's okay. Good evening.
Sorry, yours are coming up here. Only, of course, it wants to ask me some question. Okay. There we go.
I'm looking up what ESSER stands for because I never remembered. ESSER funds.
I thought cell phones were supposed to be.
It's an educational
Tool.
yeah. But I mean, does anyone know what ESSER means? I really
I'll
do.
get it real quick.
Yeah, someone needs to
We
say
use
what it is.
so many acronyms.
Timeout.
that-
Yeah, sorry. I will not use my phone, President Killo. Sorry, didn't understand what that's what the rain was.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Opened up a can of worms there, if you will.
That's okay. It's a learning opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, while we are. Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
so it's not like ESSA, which is Every Student Succeeds
Yeah,
Act.
There you
right.
This is ESSER, completely different. Okay. Now that we have solved that conundrum, Melissa, please proceed.
So
Okay.
Sean and myself and all of our DLT team have been working on a plan for ESSER going forward with the remaining funds. And you can see to date, we've received about 7.4 million, and we've spent about 6.4 million of that, leaving just a little over 1 million left. And we have a plan to spend it over the next 2 to 3 years. And I'm saying 3 years if there is a possibility of putting in a late liquidation for extending ESSER 2. I'm not sure that if we will qualify for the guidelines. I have a notice from OSPI regarding the liquidation. The paperwork has not come out yet. Right now, you're only able to liquidate ESSER 1. So I'm waiting for further updates. And as you can see, we have spent most of ESSER 3, both of ESSER 3s, and we still have a chunk of ESSER 2 left to spend. So, yes?
I know that we hope to have about $150,000 left in year 3 that we would try to extend. Couldn't we leave ESSER 3 money? Because there's about $150,000 in ESSER 3 and not have to ask for permission for ESSER 2?
Yes, we could, but I believe ESSER 2 has to be spent by August of 2023.
Oh,
So that would,
so we still have to ask
so we
permission?
still have to ask
Okay.
permission.
Good question, though. Are you ready for your next
Are,
slide?
are we spending ESSER 2 now, just
Yes.
so we don't have to ask for so much permission to not? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Definitely. The next slide, please, thank you. So this is our recovery plan for this current year. And right now, we have already contracted with Together to bring in an extra person to help at Black Hills High School, another counselor. We've allocated support for at-risk students, school counseling an extra counselor also at Black Hills High School, a 0.5. Professional development related to our district focus areas, including MTSS, which is a multi-tiered system of support. Crisis response and suicide prevention, as well as contracted services and professional development surrounding the work of diversity and equity. We've contracted with Jamon Canley, and we are setting aside funds for summer school for learning recovery and looking at all options, and maybe some after-school programs.
We've also contracted with Aaron Jones, so we'll have both.
And did I hear correctly, we've had an overwhelming response from our community about the summer school program as in favor of?
Correct. Do you want to speak to that, Sean?
Yeah, do you remember coming off of the first year, we decided to do elementary and middle school in addition to high school, enrichment-directed summer school experiences. And yes, they were a big hit. In fact, we planned on 250, we had 500 families register. So I think one of the things we want to continue looking at is how do you create an enrichment opportunity that also integrates some of our learning standards into that program. So that this is about having a fun time building things. For example, we had robotics happening in second grade. So one of the cool things about that is you can integrate learning standards into that, and it was super fun to see kids creating and coding for robotics in that kind of work. So we will ask teachers to capture a passion that they have for one of these areas, and then we will create classes around those, and then invite elementary, middle school students to participate at sites in addition to offering high school. One of the things I want to think about for high school, though, is how might we be able to do some initial credit in addition to credit retrieval?
We need you to be by the mic, sorry, but we'll catch you. So Sean, if you could speak to, when we reviewed the learning recovery, which was at the recommendation of board members, that we were looking at after-school programs, and those are just so tricky with our bus driver shortage situation. And so we really took that into account, your recommendation around summer school. But last year, summer school didn't cost this much. We're adding credit retrieval and some additional secondary options this year.
This coming summer will look different than the previous summer.
Yeah.
So remember, we did not do elementary and middle school this most recent summer. We will in the coming summer. Yeah.
So we've added funds to that.
And the driving force behind that is learning recovery. So the basis of this summer school is being built upon where we're seeing gaps.
Yeah, there's two things that we'll need to consider when we go into summer. One is, how can learning enrichment opportunities be tied to learning standards that actually grow kids in their learning? So that's one form of learning recovery, which is where are the standards. The other is, if gaps are so large, can we integrate things like reading recovery and other curriculum-based kinds of approaches to remediation inside of that? So I want to experiment with doing two things. So you could get reading remediation for a portion of the time you're there, but then be in an enrichment opportunity for the second portion. So our team is in the process of looking at data right now surrounding our intervention in math and ELA. Those are the two biggest ones. The rest of them can be integrated a little bit differently, but reading, as you know, is a pretty critical curricular need for our students, so I want to pay attention to reading recovery in particular.
And are we going to focus on recruiting the kids with the largest gaps?
Yeah, that's also another need. One of the things that will be important for us this year as we look at our data is how many kids have made gains, substantial gains in the recovery programs we have right now. So one of the things I'm looking at is there's a pretty substantial amount of research that indicates kind of that summer experience, thoughtfully structured, not only enriches student learning, but promotes it And what I don't necessarily find in the research as much is when you ask kids, hey, come to our summer school experience, we're going to give you a direct instruction, sit and get reading, and that's all you're going to do, and expect growth. That model hasn't turned out to promote as much growth as we would want to see necessarily in learning recovery, but it's a part of it. So how do we get intentional about the instruction around math and ELA, but also provide enough enrichment to tie those standards back in? So it's exciting. I mean, the exciting part is when you go out and ask teachers, what are you passionate about? Let's capitalize on that, and then let's connect that to our standards. And when we did that, that experience was super powerful for kids. And that's what I think created the most momentum, because kids wanted to be there. And they got excited about learning. So coming out of COVID, it was more about, let's re-engage you in this opportunity to get excited about school.
And I don't want to make assumptions, but, fun times trying to get them there during the summer could spill over into the school year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right? Encouraging teachers to follow their passions and then weave in this other stuff that kids need to learn so they're excited.
That was my thought. These passion projects, we've seen them carry over into the school year.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you think about long-term where education is, it really is about integration of content, right? I mean, and the integration of content can be integrated around what you would call thematic units or passions, those kinds of things, right? Like you can take those things and start taking a look at how science, ELA, math, and social studies connect to those. And yes, I mean, my vision or dream for that would be, yes, how do we capitalize on those things so that kids and staff feel that sense of engagement for the work that they're doing? Yeah.
Could I ask Sean to speak to the first item as well? The Together program, we had it originally not replace someone, and now
Yeah, when we started this endeavor, we were really looking at mental health support and assistance for our students. So we actually had something called a student assistance coordinator that we had originally looked at through the ESD 113. And one of their directors over there said, hey, I'm really sorry, but we're just running out of staff in terms of being able to support this. The need for mental health support across our state is so great that there's just not enough people to sometimes compensate for that. So what we decided to do then is get back together with Together to say, what would a community service manager model look like where we could connect that person to schools like we do in our normal system, but have more opportunity for that. So we were able, Together was able to provide some staffing and support for outreach. And right now that extra person will be assigned at the high school level. For obvious reasons, as we think about helping kids stay connected, getting them graduation ready, and the resources they need to move forward. But these tiers right here are about mental health service and supports to include counselors, community service managers, as well as we're exploring telehealth right now. Right? One of the things you'll see is how can teletherapies or telehealth be a part of your mental health system so that students can have more access, because having a person there is not as accessible sometimes as being able to do the telehealth model. So our office is in the process of looking into that right now.
Okay, let's look at the next year. And
It's just a continuation of what we have started for this year.
I think we've been talking about as a system is, what does the professional development need look like? You heard Melissa talk about MTSS, obviously looking at systems of support. One of the things that's necessary, though, when you do that is we have teacher teams that also need the support to carry on our focus areas. So we mentioned last time we were here, Universal Design for Learning, UDL, right? Well, that requires time and energy for folks to be able to meet, talk about, and learn some of those tools. So we'll keep you updated on the professional development. For now, it will always be centered around multi-tiered systems of support. And remember, that's just not a 1 year. That's going to have to be an ongoing commitment to the work that we do.
And lastly,
So our plan is to use any remaining funds for our third year summer school. Just to continue what we have started.
And not to get too in the weeds, but just like 30,000 foot level view, the 150,000, what is that going towards?
closer to the mic.
Yeah.
There we go.
Closer to the mic, right? So you have primarily staffing. So remember, you have elementary, middle, and high school coordinators, for lack of a better word, that have to happen. And then we would be paying staff to participate in that. And there's also a material and supply cost.
Okay.
And there's a transportation cost.
Okay.
The success of summer school comes from providing transportation. So we want to make sure we have enough capacity in the budget to be able to support all of that. And Melissa has been outstanding in helping us think about that. So.
All right.
Any other questions? Comments?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean and Melissa. Okay, we'll now move on to action items. I want to just, real quick, student reps, if you already know this, just bear with me. First read, second read. So first read, literally the first time we hear something, see something, but that applies to you as well. It's not just a board thing. So if you see something, hear something, or think of something later, by all means, you can reach out to us or reach out to the presenters and say, hey, I thought of something or I saw something and I'd like to comment on that. If I get clarification on that. And then after that first read, revisions are made, clarifications are made. Now we get second read, where it's more, let's say, less drafty, more official. Okay? All right, so Chris Halliday will present a second reading and recommended approval of policy 2030, service animals in schools.
Good evening. So luckily, you'll find at the very back, easy to find, the board policy update on service animals. Everything in red was what was updated, which we went through on that first read as well. I won't read aloud to you tonight, so I'll give you a minute to look at that. And as I mentioned last time, much of the focus now is on the task portion of what the animal is doing, as opposed to just saying this is a service animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't sure if there were any questions
Nope.
in regards to service animals in the schools.
Anything?
Nope.
Okay. Just, hey, that was wait time.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of policy 2030 or 2030, service animals in schools, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? 2030, service animals in schools is now approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, we will now move on to Superintendent Meyer report for the past weeks and those to come.
Well, I would just like to highlight a certain person in the room. Mia got to represent our district on a panel at the WASDA conference in Spokane, and she hung out with Aaron Jones, Aaron and Logan from WASDA. Aaron is sitting in the second photo, Logan to her left, and then you can see Amia over there, but I don't know if you have some comments you want to say about that, Amia. You were so brave.
Okay, well, being on the stage, it was really great because meeting the other student reps that were there, the ones on stage and off stage and everything, they were really great. And meeting them, they have like different ways they do things in their district. So some of them had like senior representatives and junior representatives. So I thought that was really cool. And we talked about probably doing that for our district too. So that's something that I was really interested in. And also being able to spend time with like Aaron and everything it was really fun. And also the conferences that they had were really interesting. And one of the conferences I saw, it was led by 2 former student representatives, and that was pretty interesting. And they had like equity meetings, like conferences and things like that for lunch that we did, and it was really fun. So I really liked it. It was really great.
And we missed our other two reps, but Alex was on the court playing volleyball and representing her school, which was a disappointment that you weren't with us, but we were sure supportive that you were doing what you needed to do. So great job, Amia. I don't know if we have any other comments from the board who were there to see Amia, but great job. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
indeed.
Yeah.
I was walking around with her afterwards, and like everyone was like, I felt like, oh my gosh, I know this girl, and so
Local stuff.
I felt super cool walking around with her, because everyone thanked her for her words, and not to take anything away from anyone else on that panel, but I think what people were reacting to was that they felt that you were not reading from cards, but you were speaking from your heart. And I think that is what that was my sense in terms of the people that came up to talk to you. So I think they could identify with you. So.
Well done.
And just a footnote, she was talking to probably 1,200 people.
Is that all?
I think. It was a huge audience.
Yeah.
So, great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're school board members. I mean, we're cool, but there's a whole bunch of school board members out there. So, it's kind of an intimidating group to talk to.
So, yeah, really great job, Amia. Oh, Becky and I got to go do this. It was so much fun. Scribbles and Giggles invites the superintendent and Becky to a little holiday Thanksgiving lunch. I got to read. 'Twas the night before Thanksgiving. Super fun. We had the most darling children to be with, but also they made this amazing full Thanksgiving meal. We also got to see one of the owner's sons, who's a sophomore at one of our high schools. It was just a really great time. And Becky always stands behind the camera when I'm there, but she should be in front of it. So, oh, yeah. They donated a huge holiday meal that you took to, I forget where you took it, East Ole. East Ole, and it filled the entire back end of Becky's car. So as she left, she took that whole holiday meal. So we had a blast. That was definitely a highlight of the week. Am I in the right? So I don't know if you know, there is a 74th annual Winterfest event that just happened. And you can see behind Glenn, who spends, of course, the whole day and the night before there. All of the vendors that are there, they pay a little fee. They have what they refer to as baskets. They're not baskets. Has anybody ever been? It's like,
I've heard about it.
I put in 10 tickets and I said, please let me know when you call my name. But they had, it was on their stage. They had, the tickets I put in for were for 2 rockers for the porch, a fire feature, it was just tons of stuff. And it was its 74th annual. I had a picture of the food truck because Dan and I ate jumbo burritos from the food truck that took us a couple days to get through. And so the food truck comes and they have a cakewalk and they have a silent auction. And I know that Glenn's already reached out to say, what do I need to do with the board? What's that policy again? Because he's going to get a donation from the PTA, the PTO. Oh my gosh, this is my candy cane that I'm growing. I know it might sound odd.
Oh, it says cultivating.
I'm cultivating my candy cane, and the seed was planted by one of the kindergartners in Mrs. Rupke's class at Peter G. I took the seed out for this occasion. I'll put it right back. Let the kids know. It has a candy cane on it, and it responds to holiday music and quiet classrooms. And so this was just a super big highlight of my week this week at Peter G. Yeah. Those little kids, they all knew. So all the kindergarten teachers are cultivating candy canes this week. I'm going to let you know how mine does.
Yeah.
And I'm going to
If
send
nothing
them
happens, do we blame Sean because he's being too loud in your office?
Maybe. Or I forgot to turn the holiday music on. But they have grow lights in their school, the lights under the cabinets. And you just can't, I mean, you can see the little girl who helped me plant my seed. Oh, so much fun. So much fun. So yesterday at our ad council meeting, I said, do you know who might be playing Ebenezer Scrooge in the musical this season? Now, I have to tell you, I found out later, people were like, is there a new movie out? They were trying to figure it out. Does anyone at the table know?
Like in our schools? This a staff member?
Maybe. Any guesses?
Which school?
That might give it away. They were in the meeting yesterday. All principals, all supervisors, all managers, all executive directors. Drum roll, please.
Oh,
John Halverson. And can you see his face?
He looks thrilled.
He grew out, and he did, and I could not get it figured out, and Dan wasn't here. I have a whole video of it. He did scenes from his musical, and he has one heck of a voice, and he walked around the room, and he was being Scrooge, and it was really fun. So just hats off to John.
And
then the dinosaur walked in the background. So one of our assistant principals lost a bet.
So is this like the musical at Harlequin or like what?
Shelton, the Shelton Theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Cool. He needs to get those show times to us.
There's a couple next week. Becky, could you get those out to us? And he's phenomenal.
Oh,
Yeah, really great. Was super fun. So hats off to John.
Just have to say before you go forward, that previous candy cane growing picture you had, this is her daughter.
What? Is that your mom?
Have you did that project?
Oh my gosh. Do you have more to tell us about how to grow a candy cane?
Well, we actually came up with it around Thanksgiving dinner about three years ago because she was like, it's sea week and I don't know what to do. And so we were talking about candy canes. And then my aunt goes, well, what about cultivating candy canes?
Can you believe the timing of you being in and your mom's on my screen? Oh my gosh, where is she?
There she is.
It is so clever. Yeah, it's C week, so they're learning all about the sounds the letter C makes. And so I was in a couple of the kinder classes. Super cute. That is great you were here. Now she's going to have to watch the video. Becky is amazing. And you should see our offices. It's just going to be jam-packed with gifts. And would you take a mic and just tell us about the
here.
The Nike tennis shoes? Will you tell us about that? Yeah.
I'll tell you about that.
Okay.
Okay, so we had someone come in with a donation, and she had a tag that she had grabbed from a local business, and she couldn't read if I had wrote a size 10 or a size 11 on Air Jordans. And so she bought one of each.
Oh my.
And I said, well, it's a 10, so take back that 11. And she said, no, I'm sure you can find another student that can go to. So, I mean, the community has been amazing. And the program is even better than last year. So it's pretty cool.
That family unloaded 3+ carts of gifts for the family they've been collecting for. It was just it's just piles and piles of, and making someone else's Christmas amazing. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. You still have time to go to the Michael T. Simmons Lane of Lights. It's on Friday night. It goes on for 2 hours, and I think they use this lane over here, the bus lane where it says "Do not enter." That's the starting point of the Lane of Lights. So I'd really encourage you to get out there and see those.
More alliteration.
What's that?
More alliteration.
Yeah.
And then TVA STEM Nights coming up. I'm not sure if anyone can talk about that. Tim, do you know about that at all? I think they're making snowflakes.
Nice.
Well, I'm growing a candy cane. They're going to be making snowflake, cultivating, yeah. And then just a reminder, we had a change since the last time we were together, and I keep putting Mel on my agendas more than once. It's been kind of comical this week. And it was on this one, Mel, so I left it. We had to change from December 5th to January 5th. We'll be sending out an application process to the community to participate. So I don't know, Mel, you just keep showing up for me. On November 30th, we had our second equity cadre meeting. That's representatives from every single school in the district, and then they take back the information to their schools, and then they'll be doing Module 3, I don't think I put it on December 9th, yeah, on Friday during ACT time. And then they'll have some additional time. This module's a little bigger than the ACT time that we have. So we have January 27th as well, that they can do some follow-up on that. We have an Equity Student Summit that I've been talking about that's happening on January 10th. We'll have representatives from all of our secondary schools, and Jamad and Aaron will be hosting and leading and doing that work. We have the Legislative Conference coming up, and both Darby and I are registered for that. And we were going to put, if it's okay with everyone, our legislative priorities on a 2-sided postcard and make a few of those for us to distribute when we're there, just to leave them with the legislators. And just a side note to that, today at ESD 113, we had a legislative panel that spoke to all the superintendents in the area, and I was able to participate in that as well. And that's it for me.
The Student Equity Summit on January 10th, what time is that?
It will be all day, 8:30 to 1:30, and it will be at New Market Skills Center in the lecture hall. And because of busing, obviously our TVA, Cascadia students will walk over, Tumwater High School will walk over, and will bus Black Hills High. Okay. And they're doing a process of identifying students who want to participate. I'm assuming some of the ones that from some of the activities that the student reps mentioned will be identified that way. It'll be 9 through 12. Okay. Yep.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Meyer. We'll now move to board committee reports. We'll start with the legislative report from Director Kaikkonen.
Okay, so I think the first thing to clarify is the same thing that we had to clarify at this time last year, which is, so we just had a board member be interested in becoming the legislative rep. There's something in the policy about July 1, but I still don't understand if that means that I finish this until July 1 and then it's Melissa. Yes? Is that how it works? Okay, so I got one more session. All right. So.
But then it's a 2-year term.
A 2-year term for, yes, correct. Okay, so the session will be starting probably January 12th, if I could just guess the date. I will begin organizing my materials to ramp up for getting an early look at bills that will be coming down the pike for K-12. The beginning of the session is, pretty heavy, because that's where everyone's starting to drop their ideas, and then, as you know, it's basically like a funnel that will start working its way through. So my plan for the information sharing and advocacy is, really to keep an eye on the meeting schedule, the bill schedule. So I will start developing a means of updating you all on what it's looking like. Our legislative platform recommendations, that's an area that we can I take a keen eye on those particular things, but there's also just who knows until they start opening things up what'll be coming up and what the legislators' priorities are looking like. I will also take a look at OSPI, ESD, other entities, other school districts in our area, and just kind of see what it looks like the entire platform is looking like and what the way of the world is headed towards in 2023. So starting with those board meetings, I'll have my standing legislative update will be pretty much all about the session. So.
Any questions, comments? Thank you, Director Kuiken. And now I'll move to WIAA update from Director Taylor.
Thank you, President Killow. WIAA update, recap of the fall sports at the high school level. Black Hills successful. Football went to state. Volleyball went to state, of course, Alex knows. And most importantly, participation numbers at Black Hills have returned to normal levels, if you will, which is great. At Tumwater, again, successful season as well, too. Great weather for all sports this fall, but cross country took 6th in state. Golf sent 5 kids to state. They play theirs in the spring. Girls swim took 16th in state. Volleyball went to state. Football went to state. Football's highlight, though, was more importantly, a highlight of a low light was raising over $30,000 for the Michael J. Fox Parkinson's Foundation in memory of Sally Otten, so in honor of as well, too. So great news there. And then the most successful program was the Tumwater High School girls soccer program, took 3rd in state. So congratulations to that group of girls. I know they've been winning a lot of games for a lot of years, so that's great. Moving into winter sports, again, numbers are up across the board. Black Hills has 123 people participating this winter. Tumwater has 162 participating. Here's where the great numbers are in middle school. Bush has 61 in doing girls basketball and wrestling. That's co-ed wrestling, by the way. And Tumwater Middle School has 77 doing girls basketball and wrestling. The Tumwater Middle School, I wanted to highlight it's 6th to 8th grade co-ed wrestling. There's 40 students that are wrestling. 13 are female. So very exciting there.
Jeez, that's impressive.
Yeah. So the grand total is 423 kids participating in athletics. There are also several dozen or hundreds participating in other activities and clubs as well, too. So great to see. I do have a couple slides. We went to WASDA, and I usually attend the WIA one. Mick Hoffman, who's the executive director of WIA, does a great job. He hits at the perfect level, especially for me. I'm quick and to the point with the bullets. Can you go to slide 3, Carol? Yep. That's 1, 2, and then 3. If you scroll back up a little bit. This is the Y of WIA, and this is not all of the Y, but here's some of them. Attended 21. These are people that are kids that participate in a sport. So if you participate in a sport, you will attend essentially 21 more days of an educational environment. Yes, don't tell the kids that sports is an actual educational environment. So that's a secret. But 21 more, that's per sport. So if you do 3 sports, that's 63 days. Physically active kids, 40% better on standardized tests. These aren't shocking numbers, but it's good to recap and look at them. If you look down, 49% less likely to use drugs,
37% less likely to become a teen parent. Best value for the school, I guess, it kind of depends if you participate or not, but still less than 2% of all district budgets and even less for some. Can you go to the last slide or almost the last slide?
You tell
It's
me
the challenges. So there are some challenges with the WIA, and you can imagine the landscape has shifted a little bit over COVID. There you go, back up. The second one, just right there, that's it. Official shortage. So, and Carol will back me up on this.
Yes, I will.
The average age is 55. That's an older group, in case.
Yep.
I know some of us don't like hearing that.
Yeah, it's
but
like not that much
careful,
older.
right? But there is a shortage, and we lose them to club sports as well too, in youth. So I have talked, and Carol has helped me a little bit about this, but we are looking at, I've engaged in some conversations about getting officiating into the schools as a program. So it would be a PE or a CTE type thing, and then we would groom and educate officials. So we're in the initial stages of that. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll learn from other districts that are doing it. There's not very many, but it'll certainly be something that might be attractive to some folks. Bad behavior. This is and again, Carol can back me up on this. They poll their officials on how the game went and several things. 84%, that's more than 4 out of 5 think behavior and abuse is getting worse. 80% of officials quit in the first year.
And I think that is fans, athlete, it's the whole program in terms of the challenges.
Yeah, it is. It's dealing with everything, right. And the biggest thing, ejections increased over by 40%. And that's something that I know the WIA is committed to reducing, ideally to 0. Resetting goals, this is why we're here. We're here to educate our kids and make them better students, learners for life. 1.3, you get a full or partial scholarship. Obviously, that changes maybe by the school or the size of your school, but 1 to 3% is probably a pretty safe number. Let's keep that in mind, a realistic expectation. 1 out of 64 win a championship. That's a state championship. So 1 out of every 64 will win a state championship. So not everybody's going to win a state championship. Obviously, it's difficult. $6 ticket. Now, I argued with Mick on this because I don't remember last time I paid $6 for a WIA. They're usually 10 or 15. So still does not give you the right to abuse a child or adults, right?
Yeah.
So those are some kind of challenges that they're dealing with. There's some realignment going on with WIA as well, too. They're going to go from 9 districts down to 6 districts. The east side ones are combining. This will not affect the west side. But yeah, that's all I have. Any questions?
And I'll just point out the reason I know something about officials, I've been married to one for 37 years, and he just retired.
He's a great source of information for
Yeah.
sure. So. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought these slides along.
Yeah.
It's really helpful. And we can share those with the whole board.
They are. Just you let me know. I will pass them along. There's lots of great information about the WIA and the way they operate. If you're curious about that, we're probably not the right forum here tonight. But.
Okay.
Thank you, Director Taylor. All right, it is now time for board comments. Please keep in mind that each board member has 2 minutes. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I never like to go first, but I do want to go first. No, I never go first. But I want to go first because I want to. I got to say how much I admired Amia earlier. I had that on my list, but so the second thing on my list was to thank Director Taylor for his leadership over the last year. I've learned a lot from you and really appreciated the direction you've taken us in. And you had a lot. I had to deal with COVID, but I think you had a tougher job this last year. So I really want to thank you for your leadership. Much appreciated. And then he didn't give us any science lessons, so I'm looking forward to that from President Killow. And also wanted to mention, this has been going on for 80 years. OJP has been going on for 80 years. So obviously, since I went here, I got to go there. My daughter did. My daughter's a big theater nut. And there's nothing that compares to live theater in terms of the energy that you get from the people there and from the performers. It's different from a movie experience, and I just love that I love that we have a group of people committed to making sure our kids get to experience that. So thanks to OJP.
Thank you. And,
I'll go second.
okay.
Well, first off, I want to congratulate all the new board officers for their new positions. I'm also excited about the committee assignments for the next year. And I want to wish everyone a wonderful winter holiday season. And lastly, today's December 7th, which 80 years ago was Pearl Harbor, the attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. And I think a good thing to remember is most of the people who were there, they're not living anymore, but their family members are, and it has made an impact. My male partner, his dad was there at Pearl Harbor, and the ship was in service, being repaired, and it got blown up totally. Fortunately, my friend's dad was playing cards and wasn't anywhere near it, so he survived. But I think the main lesson for us to remember is that in great challenges, Americans, most of the time, we come together and we end up stronger because of that. That's all I got.
Thank you for that reminder.
I can go next briefly. Thank you, Director Baird, for your comments with respect to our former President Taylor. I absolutely agree that I really, really appreciate your leadership over this past year. 100% agree that as difficult as COVID was, there were challenges that were unforeseen, changing all the time, every day. And you just did such a great job in your leadership with that. So thank you. Really appreciate it. I also wanted to just follow up on something that Amia had mentioned in talking about the WASDA conference. And so, again, one of the things that came up was the possibility for having more than one student rep from each of our schools in order to help with kind of that transition. So an older and a younger, perhaps, and allowing people to come in and learn a bit about the position. And so I would love to see us maybe look into setting that up. That would be fantastic. And then the last thing that kind of popped into mind as we were looking at the committee reports is last year in January, we started talking about the Budget Advisory Committee. At that time, we were facing very dire circumstances, and that was a necessary strategy. I had said that I would actually love to see that be continue on in perpetuity, having a Budget Advisory Committee for the purposes of transparency, community involvement, and all of that. So I hope that at least after the first of the year, we can start looking into what that would take to get that process going again. So,
like an annual event.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll go next. Yes, the ledge session coming up. Please get involved. Everyone who has skin in that game, for sure. This is the time to do it. WASDA is the school board directors annual conference, and student reps are invited. Alex, of course, was busy with volleyball, but Amia was there, and as Melissa said, it was like walking around with a rock star. So everybody knew who she was for sure, and he felt pretty cool. So about as cool as you can feel going to these type of things. But it was fun. It was great to get to know her on a personal level as well, too. She really was a star at the, and I think we were all very proud the way she represented the school district. So thank you, Amia. Julia, I see you out there.
Julia has watched Max before.
Oh,
So that's, yeah.
I go
It is a
see
small
Max
world,
every
right?
time
So
I'm at
that's-
Peter G.
Very small world, and her mom is of course a great kindergarten teacher at Peter G. So I'm curious why Julie is here, but we'll find out later, I'm sure.
She's probably forced to be here.
I know. I'm sensing homework or graduation, something. Yeah, I can see it. They're scrambling over there with their notes.
AP Gov.
Okay, there we go. All right. Congratulations, Scott and Darby. I'm very confident in your ability to lead us in the next year for sure. So you've been waiting and watching and learning, and so now I know you're ready. So that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words, everyone. I appreciate that as well too. I couldn't have done anything, of course, without your guys' support, and I'm just one of 5. So. And then lastly, I want to thank my family. This is a heads up, Scott. It's not easy. This was not an easy year as well, too. I don't know what an easy year. It was my year, so hopefully it's not as intense. But really, I want to thank my family because it is quite a commitment to step up to that, especially when there's things that need to be dealt with. And so you'll learn to appreciate, not that you don't, but you will definitely learn to appreciate them in new and better ways. So good luck, sir. Thank you.
The assignments that everyone has, that was pretty interesting, and the ones that caught my eye were the military one and the graduation requirement one. So if we can do that, if we can be involved in that, that'd be really great because that's pretty interesting. And I also want to say thank you for talking about me, and I'm really flattered, and I'm glad that it got to go there because it's a very good opportunity for me, and I just want to thank you for letting me go. But that's what I have for me. So
Thank you.
Basically, kind of the one thing I was kind of thinking about when we went over sports in WIAA was because I've done volleyball all 4 years, and I know with some of my teammates they've struggled in school a lot to keep their grades up, but especially with COVID and getting back to school, and how last year our athletic director was a lot more flexible with letting people play and stuff, but then this year being a lot more strict on it kind of forced most of my teammates to go to school every day and be at everything. So I was just gonna say that sports do help a lot of kids actually focus in school and learn a lot better, because it kind of forces you to make sure that you're there and actually working hard to learn. And I wanted to say thank you to everybody for being really patient with me since I have not been here. But yeah.
Thank you. Okay, wrapping this up. How much time do I have? Half an hour?
2 minutes.
Some former presidents assured me that since this is my show, I can run it the way I want.
You betcha.
I would like to thank former President Beard, former President Taylor for showing me the path. As I am sure we have all stated and will continue to state, their leadership during what was quite possibly the most difficult 3 years in education was phenomenal. Thank you for that. And the dedication that this takes and the time away it takes from your family, thank you for making that sacrifice. I want to thank all of you for putting your faith in me to do this year. I hope I live up to your expectations. I hate, and I say that sincerely, I hate disappointing people. It's just been the way I've been since I was a child. So please give me honest feedback. I mean that with my whole heart. I don't want people dancing around my feelings. I want honest feedback. Okay? It doesn't have to be like in my face, like at the time. It can be, like in coaching, the coach always says, give me 24 hours. We'll have that same policy. I'll thank my family later on. If I thank them now, I'm going to start getting all teary-eyed. That was very special, very special. Thank all of you for being here. On a Wednesday, it was for me. I needed this to happen tonight because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. My family and I are going to Leavenworth. It is a tradition my wife started. She and I were freshmen in college. And we went probably 20 straight years to Leavenworth. I'm not making a pitch. They probably are being happy right now. But it's been 10 years since she and I have been back. And so I'm really looking forward to my time with my family in what I call the City of Lights. And people are like, you're going to Paris? No.
The Leavenworth of Washington, or
That's
the
right.
Paris of Washington.
Exactly. With that, I think that's everything. Dramatic pause.
Yes.
With no further business coming before the board, the regular meeting is, turn the page, adjourned at 7:30.
Job, Scott.
Hey, Alex and Amia, I put this back up, but if you have a minute, Alex, before you go, we can chat just a sec about, or if you want to chat with Melissa as well.